Welcome to On Second Thought. I am Brianna Moore, co-hosting today. Thank you for joining us where William J. Wagener gives you reason to have second thoughts. And now for the host and producer of On Second Thought, the good guy in the white hat, William J. Wagener.
The financial independence my father was forced to die with the belief and knowledge that he was a burden on his daughter. The consequences of Alan Courtney's crimes has changed my life forever. The extent of physical and emotional and financial damage can never be reversed. My life will never be the same. I have lost my home as a result of Alan Courtney. Alan Courtney asked the court for probation so that he may return home to his family. If granted probation, Alan Courtney can return to society knowing if he complies with his probation, that he can have his record expunged, showing no criminal record whatsoever, can reinstate his ability to practice law, and have no ultimate consequences, with no long-term consequences, and no remorse. I ask the court, would he not be in a position to repeat these crimes and these actions? And I know that there are other victims that never got justice. And there's some in the courtroom today that never got justice. He could practice again in less than 2 years if he only got probation. Alan, I would like to see the recommendation of the 7 years and the 4 months, and you know, even if he gets that recommendation, it will only be 2.5 years or less with good behavior. I believe that the court should sentence him to the maximum extent of the law in hopes that he will accept responsibility for his behavior, as well as required to pay the restitution to those it is owed. In conclusion, I would like to point out to the court that Alan Courtney was someone that we loved and we trusted, and we had a family bond going back more than 50 years. Alan not only abused this bond of love, but also the trust that we had in him as an officer of the court. As an attorney, my father, Frank Cox, my great-aunt, Nancy Elizabeth Moran, and I held him in a higher standard. Alan Courtney took advantage of us and our trust and committed these horrendous and calculated crimes against my father and my great-aunt. My dad, Aunt Betty, nor myself should never have had to go through this. Please do not give Alan Courtney probation. I ask the court to sentence him to the maximum sentencing that the law states.
We were forced to move into a condo in Solvang and had to leave half of our belongings behind, worth thousands of dollars. Diane was confused even more, trying to understand why we had to lose our home. My stomach was in knots, chest pains. Some of our furniture and belongings went in storage at $230 a month. The rest was stacked to the ceiling in each room at the condo, leaving only 18 inches to maneuver from room to room, from 6,000 square foot home squeezed into a 118,800 square foot condo. Diane never once complained. She often asked me, can't we buy another home? I told her as soon as we get our $125,000 homestead exemption money. While Diane and I were at the bottom of our pit, struggling to survive, attorney Alan Courtney, at the highest degree of cruelty, flagrantly, without any compassion, kicked us when we were down, as he was feeding his obsessed greed, planning to destroy Diane and me in order to increase his real estate holdings worth millions. He secretly wrote to the Santa Barbara sheriff instructing them to send our $125,000 homestead money to him, Courtney. Courtney and the sheriff never told me. On April 21st, 2004, attorney Robert Irwin and Gary Dulugy bought our home with their monopoly money, the phony abstract judgments. I was at the sale. Irwin secretly paid the sheriff our $125,000 homestead money by cashier's check and got a receipt from the sheriff. All secretly done behind closed doors. Nobody told me. By Judge Cantor's court order and California Homestead Act, $125,000 was to be paid directly to Diane and me, actually into our hands only at the time of the sale. I called Courtney and asked, "Where's our $125,000 homestead money?" He was cocky, callous, and said he knew nothing about it, that he's not our attorney. I called attorney Mark Whitestock. According to Whitestock, Courtney told him he gave the $125,000 to Knightsbridge Corporation, the bogus corporation. 2004, I filed charges against Courtney with Salt Lake Sheriff for grand theft. Detective Ruby Wolf was assigned to my case. Ruby was, excuse me. Ruby was the only one who really believed me and patiently listened to my whole unbelievable story. Her deep passion for justice is outstanding and should be noted. She and 9 other detectives raided Courtney's office and home and seized his computers and files. Ruby sometimes worked late at night on the case, tracking down many out-of-state key witnesses in order to present a strong case for the prosecution in support of me. Diane was doing fine in senior daycare, answering all the trivia questions, but closed her mind to the rubies. She said they don't exist anymore and continued to ask, when will we move into our mobile home? Diane knew I was under tremendous stress, and my stress was her stress. I had had several mild heart attacks, wound up in ER, and was under care of a cardiologist and 9 different medications to help my chest pains, lower my blood pressure, and to help tolerate the pain in the pit of my stomach. One Sunday, I thought I was losing it. I was pacing the floor, pounding on the table, singing, yelling, and doing anything I could to hold control. Diane was crying, following me around, asking, "What can I do for you? Tell me, how can I help you?" She felt my pain, and she could have been injured even more. I called 911. Deputy Sheriff Honeycutt came, had someone stay with Diane, and drove me to ER, where they brought my blood pressure down. At the end of each day, after the van would drop Diane off at our condo, Diane would have my undivided attention for the rest of the day. She had the choice of looking at 4 walls, watching TV, or going to bed. Her vast garden and orchard used to be her passion. From sunup to sundown, now destroyed, gone. Week after week, Diane was attending senior daycare, and I was in court, or preparing for court trial. One delay after another, Diane still stretched out, confused, under tremendous stress, trying to understand why Courtney had our $125,000 and we can't move into our mobile home in Buellton. January 24th, 2006, I received a call from Cindy at daycare. She said that Diane had fainted. When I got there, I saw the ambulance. Diane on a gurney and medics continuing with shock pads. We followed the ambulance with red lights flashing and Cindy and I crying. A doctor came out of ER. We did everything we could. She's gone. I never had a chance to say goodbye.
I sent an email to the Legion confirming my client agreed to that.
There are always matters which are never discussed. And one of those matters that has not been discussed here today is the fact that the county jail in which I've been incarcerated is designed to hold 800 inmates, and it currently houses over 1,300.